So,
It's a bit
well,
controversial, this one, isn't it?
God damn evil. So, Lee, remember back in 1986 when there was this little controversy with an original album cover for To Hell with the Devil?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think we can safely say that was eclipsed by the title of this album.
Yeah.
God damn evil.
Well, that
I
comma,
remember waking up
that ain't in there.
without the comma. Yeah. I remember waking up the morning after the Super Bowl in 2018, and Michael had posted the cover art on Facebook. I took one look at it and was like, well, that's interesting. Followed by, I love it. I really don't understand why so many Christians got all bent out of joint on this one. For me, it was just a brilliant play on words. It was so easy to see that it was an appeal to God to condemn evil in this world. I didn't even picture it as the closest thing I came to picturing the curse thing was just seeing the play on words and knowing full well this is going to create controversy. Because I just knew I knew it was coming. And then if the album wasn't title wasn't controversial enough, a week later they release "Take It to the Cross," and it was like all hell broke loose on the various fan pages. Some people loved it, and some people hated it. I was one that absolutely loved this track. Sure, the chorus took me by surprise at first. But I just love that Stryper continues to try new things to stay fresh. So many bands out there, even if they are coming out with new material, they don't sound any different. They're just kind of boring, and I love when my favorite band gives me enough of what I grew up with and fell in love with, but also just pushes the envelope a little bit and throws a little bit of that modern edge. Like I want my musical taste to mature. I don't want to just be stuck in the 80s. I want to appreciate the 80s and what they did for hard rock and heavy metal, but still also appreciate some of the newer stuff that's coming out. Like as an example, I hate rap with a passion. Hate it. Can't stand it. Like it's got my son loves it. I can't even figure out what anybody sees in rap music. If you like rap music, folks out there, well, probably not if you're watching this channel, but God bless you. But that being said, take a band like Linkin Park, a modern new metal band, and they integrate rap within their heavy rock, melodic rock. That I don't mind. That sounds great. It sounds amazing. But I just have no use for just that stuff. Anyways, I'm going off on a bit of a tangent here. But yeah, I mean, so that chorus, a little bit high pitched, a little fast, a little thrashy. A lot of people hated it. I remember watching reading the comments on Facebook, and it was just like, oh my gosh, leave it to Stryper to be controversial. But lyrically, this track just, lets the listener know that they can take all of their pain, all of their doubts, all of their sin, and just lay it at the cross. Very powerful song. Probably ranks somewhere in my top 10 Stryper songs of all time.
Well,
sorry.
No, that's all right. It's not one of my favourites, and I'm all for bands like doing new stuff. I really am, but I don't know. I felt like this song, and although I don't hate the song at all. I like it. I love the verses, and I think they've got that heaviness of Yahweh. That real epic sort of in them verses. I think they're great. They're the best part of the song for me.
I definitely like the verses better than the chorus for sure.
Yeah. It feels as if to me it's like two different songs in one, and it sounds too off to me. It almost, and it's like it's meant to be like that, because those verses, the song literally stops. It go bang like that, and then it goes into the thrashing bit, like you said. It's like yeah, and it's like two separate. It doesn't, that's probably why I'm not. I don't know if you like progressive rock and metal at all. I don't like anything that's progressive that much. As progressive as I get is Queensryche. That's about as progressive as I want to.
Do you like Rush at all, or
no, too much for me. Like yeah. So sometimes these bands that are progressive, they take you out of the rhythm of the song, and some of the things it's just too much, and it's like, I want to be in that groove a little bit. And I'm not saying this is progressive in any way, it's not, but it does take me out of it a little bit, where it's so different, those verses to the choruses. But saying that, it's some great musicianship, I think, and it's got that, like I said, the verses are absolutely outstanding. It's just the chorus I'm not too keen on. The actual album itself, because you spoke a little bit about the album, it's my least favourite out of the last four. It is my least favourite out of the last four. And it just, and that growl at the end, that doesn't bother me. Honestly, I in fact, I don't mind that. I don't mind it at all. I don't mind it at all, because I don't really like the verses that it's going over. So that it doesn't distract me from something that I particularly like that much. Does that make sense?
Yeah. I actually didn't mind that at all either. In fact, I actually thought it was kind of cool. Yeah. I just kind of threw it in a little bit of thrash, a little bit of death metal.
And man, it was like it was like for about 10 seconds, not even that. I mean, I don't understand all the grief over that. But, the chorus itself, I don't know. It was obviously, you can't love every Stryper. You can't give every Stryper song a 10 out of 10. For me, that's like a 6 or 7. Do you know what I mean? Which still ain't a bad one, but it's just not one of the best for me. But it's still good parts of it though.
It definitely takes you by surprise when you first hear it. That's for sure. Even the chorus, I still agree with you. I still think the verses are way better than the chorus. But my gosh, the song really did grow on me, and I still think, and maybe it will grow further on you. Maybe it won't.
I think it will. I really do think it will. I don't know. Maybe the verses, if they were more like the chorus.
It's funny how I find that way with all songs. Like there's always going to be songs on an album that don't do it for me, and then all of a sudden, I mean, for the album Goddamn Evil, it was the one song that didn't do it for me at all at the beginning, I think, was Sea of Thieves. And then it was a while into having the album for a while that I actually, you know what, this is actually pretty good. So it just, we all have different points, when you're going through an album like this, you're going to have different favorites and whatnot. And if we all like the same thing, it'd be a pretty boring world. So
definitely, mate. Definitely.
Anyways, so yeah, next track I've chosen is once again the title track. Can't talk about the controversy without at least giving some meaning behind it. And this is actually where, as far as I'm concerned, if anyone still had doubts about the title, they just need to read these lyrics, and it should come crystal clear where they're going with this and what they mean, right? We power up the empty screen and let the games begin. Far beyond its poisoning, it's a special kind of sin. We open locks and break the chains to let the devil in. We're losing all of what remains. In a war we'll never win. In a war we'll never win. God damn evil, God damn it all. But God save the people, but God damn the walls. Self-control is all but gone, the weak time after time. Take the bait and break the bond, but never pay the crime. And the only saving grace is love, and we know where that lies. It's what we feel unworthy of, so we don't claim the prize. No, we never claim the prize. Just a powerful song that really just makes the listener look inward at their life. What nastiness are we hiding inside? I think if every one of us is honest, there's parts of our lives, past, present, that we'd never want anybody to know about, stuff that happened a long time ago, maybe when we're stupid kids or whatever, So I think in the end, that's just a prayer, to God, asking him to rid the world of the evil that's threatened to overtake us. Right? It's pretty simple.
Oh, yeah, brilliant, mate. Very, I talked about the two sides of their music, and this is their heavy rock and roll type side. Definitely very AC/DC sort of inspired riff running through it, especially at the beginning. Sounds very AC/DC. So, I mean, they have touched upon them sort of songs throughout their career. Going for either the power metal and a little bit of rock and roll in there. It weren't just Against the Law; it was even before that. There was even some songs on Soldiers Under Command a little bit. Makes Me Want to Sing was a little bit rock and rolly, and there was another track on there as well, similar as well. But again, not one of my favourites off the album, but I do like it. It's just not one of my favourites. Great solo as usual on this one, but I don't know. I just think I like hearing Stryper sound like Stryper. Does that make sense?
Sure.
When you hear Yahweh, when you hear Soldiers Under Command, those sort of songs, they for me, even though they do mix it up, and I love them mixing it up on an album, those songs resonate with me more. Those sort of power metal type sort of songs, but it's still a great track, but just not one of my favourites on the album. But mind you, Goddamn Evil wasn't it's probably my least favourite in the last four anyway. So, but. Still good though.
It is kind of funny. It's that album is when it first came out, I absolutely loved it. But yeah, as I started to go back, I think I do actually I don't know. I somewhat agree with you. I don't know if I'd say it's the worst of the three, although it's hard to. Well, four. Yeah, maybe it is. Yeah.
I mean, it's a bit weird, isn't it? I
definitely say Fallen is definitely number 2 for me, for sure. You might be able to guess what my number 1 is, but
see, I think I might change slightly in the future, because we've only been with the new album a little while as well.
Yeah.
But you do change as well. It's like 1 minute.
Yeah. No.
One song's your favourite, then it's not. So I mean, I don't know. It's just they can't all be your 100%. Favourite album, can they? That's the thing.
Well, that's kind of hard to do that. I mean, yeah.
Yeah, definitely, mate.
Last song I picked on this is, well, geez, can you guess what order or what track number this might be? That seem to have a habit of taking the first and the last track, don't I?
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh man, The Devil Doesn't Live Here. Wow. I went this song, typical Stryper fashion. They close this album with a pure metal scorcher, and it does not, in my opinion, does not disappoint. And from a message perspective, which is what I'm here for today, I have to give it even bigger props. I mean, this one song, in my opinion, basically tells you where Stryper stands more than any other. If there are any doubters left, if there's anybody out there that thought that Stryper was just using the Christian thing as a gimmick, leave your doubts at the door, people, because this song probably is their most bold statement of faith yet. It just screams, what we believe, and that we're never backing down. Exactly. Just the chorus, right? The devil doesn't live here, only Jesus. Sold out with no fear, only to Jesus. I mean, that's as straightforward as you can get, mate. It's like, can't argue with that. There's no doubting where they stand.
You know what, man? What's the most metal thing ever? When you talk about being proper metal, it's sticking to your guns, isn't it? and doing what you believe.
Exactly.
And man, you can't fault them for that. They are, you know, if that's what metal's about, they do stick to their guns.
You bring up a very valid point there. I've often said this, you know, if you look at, some people wonder, you know, why you like a certain type of music. And if there's one thing I can say about heavy metal in general, even not just the Christians, like the non-Christian metal out there, like they lyrically, they're always telling they really get to some in-depth topics. I find if you ever go back, and I know you're always listening more to the music, but I would say to you, as someone who does that, to go back and take some of these metal bands that you love, not even so much the 80s glam metal, because they were very simplistic, but if you go to like some of the modern stuff now, if you ever go listen to Disturbed, listen to Linkin Park, Linkin Park, Chester Bennington, so sad to lose him to suicide. It's so sad. And you know what? But after his death, I went back and I listened to a lot of those songs, and it was like, oh my gosh, if people were just listening to those songs carefully, they would see just what kind of torture this guy was going through. He was struggling, and he put that in his music. Whereas you listen to pop music today, it's just sugar-coated crap, right? Like there's no substance to it at all. It's just
the songs never go anywhere either. They never go anywhere either, do they? They never. It's like you might as well put the beginning and the end on. It'll be exactly the same song. Yeah, you're totally right there, mate.
Yeah, it's so true. And half the time, you know, the artists aren't even talented. I don't know if you've ever seen some of those. There's some YouTube channels or stuff where they've shown like, I'll leave them unnamed artists who they've shown the guy who actually had access to their live tracks.
Oh, no.
And took out all the other stuff and left them with their vocal, and it's like, thank God for auto-tune.
You're right there, mate. But
and right now, when it comes to hard rock and metal, I'd say there's really only one band I wish would use auto-tune, and that's probably Kiss.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I mean, I've heard a bit about them. I haven't really heard them properly, but I've heard. Right.
Anyways,
okay, mate.
so
musically, the devil doesn't live here. So the devil doesn't live here. See, I don't know. I don't mind this song. It's another fast rocker, like you said. It veers more towards their heavy rock and roll side than the power metal. And we're going to get onto some power metal faster songs later. That, you know, we talk about me liking medium paced songs more. Beg your pardon.
Yeah,
but we're going to get on to one soon where they do it perfectly. But, you know, I think it's just this side of Stryper for me. I actually like their rock and roll side, but I prefer their power metal side. And this again is more their rock and roll sort of side. Really good chorus though. Brilliant chorus on this song. But, you know, I just think yet again, the Stryper sound inside to me is the one I resonate with. I don't know, but I still don't mind the track, but I prefer a lot more of the tracks on the album Goddamn Evil in general than the three that you chose for lyrically. But I think, you know, there's a lot of other brilliant songs on that album. Although, like I said, it's still my least favourite out of the last four. It's still a really strong album. And like I said to you a while ago, didn't I? What band do you know? Let's not take anything away, even though these three tracks, for me, you're probably watching this. If Michael Sweet sees this, he'll probably think, what's going on there? Then I thought he liked Stryper. But, you know, I think all four of these albums have been absolutely superb. Just this one just veered off a little bit for me. But, you know, look what we got coming next. I mean, it didn't veer off again, did it? So.
Well. What can I say? My God.
Yeah, I mean,
devil believes.
Yeah.
I am. This album Okay, so let's start with the first song, and then we'll kind of go from there. When they released the first single, "Blood from Above," I was like, "Holy crap! Is there anything that can stop the Stryper machine?" I mean, the short answer, of course, is no. This is just a brilliant song. Left me so desperate for September 4th to arrive when we could hear the whole entire album. And I remember watching the lyric video and was just so enthralled with the chorus. I absolutely love the words Michael used to describe what Christ did for us. He's a holy human sacrifice nailed upon a cross. This is my favorite line: a righteous murder scene of love, flowing down grace in the blood from above. I'd never heard that type of lyric before. And my gosh, like, what a way to describe a righteous murder scene of love. And that just, lyrically, that just nailed it. And it just doesn't get any more real for me than this, man. I just love it. Yeah. I could talk musically, but that's your to be fair, that's your side on this program. I wish it in this song. I almost wish it wasn't, but no. This song just and hey, well, we already know what you think of this song. All I want to ask to do is go look at your reaction video.
Yeah, we could just leave it at that. Oh man, I mean this song. I mean, straight away I loved it, but I've actually loved it even more now than I did. You know, even more than when I first listened to the whole album. You know, I think I started giving the songs rankings, I think, or so, when I first started doing the reactions to the songs. But this one grew on me and I think it became a 9 out of 10 for me, you know, and it could even become a 10 in the end. It's just, and when I talk about fast songs done right, because I'm not a massive fast song fan, this is done right. This is done perfectly right. This is power metal through and through. I love the way, and I didn't actually write this down in my notes, but I'm thinking of it now. I love the way got that little fiddly riff going on in the verses, but it's like the drawn out chords while he's singing, and then he carries on with the fiddly bit, then the drawn out chords again. Absolutely love that. Chorus is amazing. Absolutely, and not just lyrically, like you said, but the actual sound of that chorus, so heavy, them chugging guitars. So much energy in the song. And even at the end, it's so heavy. I mean, Michael Sweet even said this himself. It's almost, someone said to him, it's almost like a Pantera riff at the end. It's that heavy. Junk, 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 like the real chugging, like, you know, thrashy riff. Brilliant opener. Couldn't have got a better opener. You know, some people were saying they was thinking about putting Middle Finger Messiah as the opener. You know, no, this is the perfect opener for the album. Absolutely perfect. Couldn't have got a better song opening it.
That's 100% agree there. Yeah. Just what you just, as I said, man, I just couldn't wait for September 4th to arrive. It's like, yeah, after hearing that song, and then, you know, I'm going to throw a little loop here. I didn't include it in my list, but I'm going to just say a few words just briefly about it too. Is that the next single that they released, "Make Love Great Again." I almost had it in my list here. I only took it off just to shorten up a bit, but I will say, lyrically, yeah, just a great song. Just kind of, you know, and like Michael said, this is not a political thing. Like, they just, once again, that was just a play on words. It's a popular "Make America Great Again" by Trump is a buzzword out there, so they just took a simple play on words, and really lyrically great song. And musically, the only thing I want to just say that I gotta say on that song, and this, you know, this is the first album that Perry played on, and I gotta say, Perry, if you're watching this, brother, you are just brilliant. You have brought so much to this band. This band it's like a new band, and it's no disrespect to Timothy.
No.
You know, Timothy Gaines, a great bass player. You know, in the end, there was obviously, I don't know all the details, but there was obviously some stuff going on at the end. And, you know, but I got to say, Perry Richardson, brother, you just bring so much to this band. And I don't know if you remember, but I mean, the first, it was actually on the Goddamn Evil tour. I drove down to Michigan to see Stryper at the not Diesel, it was the, yes, it was Diesel Concert Lounge, that's right. And we got there early in the afternoon, and I drove around. I said, I wonder if the tour bus is here yet. So this venue is kind of in a big, huge mall almost thing, right? It was actually a bowling alley in there, and then they had a concert lounge. And so I no tour bus in the front, and so I drove all the way around the building, and what do I see up ahead? It's the tour bus.
Brilliant.
I thought, cool. So I drive up, and who do I see sitting on a lawn chair outside smoking a cigar? Perry Richardson. And I could tell, though, he was on his phone. He didn't have it up to his ear. He had his earpiece in, but I could tell he was on his phone, right? And I just pulled up, and I had my window open. I smiled and stuff. And I was about to just, leave. But then I didn't, because I noticed something, that he was literally, I could just tell, he was literally, whoever he was talking with, could have been his wife, could have been somebody else, I don't know. He was saying, I got to go. I could tell what he was doing. He was like trying to get the person off the phone. He says, a fan just popped up. I got to go say hi. Right. And he did. He got off the phone. He came over, said hi. We got out of the car and shook hands, and I talked to him. Guy is just one of the nicest guys if you ever get a chance to meet him in person, man. Just a salt of the earth type of guy.
Brilliant. And
he took some photos and stuff, and it was a just cool experience. And and then I ended up seeing Robert as well. My buddy, who I've referenced before, was with them. And saw Robert get on the bus with my buddy, and then all of a sudden they came down from the bus, and Robert comes out and goes, "Paul from Toronto." Like, how does he remember me?
Wow.
And then I see my buddy Joe right behind him, who is their pastor. Hey, Kitty.
Oh yeah, it's one of them bald cats.
And yeah. And he comes down, and we chat a while, and then he says to Joe, he says, well, "Why don't you take him in and show him my new kit?" And so went in, got to see the drum setup and stuff at the stage, and just these guys are they're such nice human beings, like you can tell they don't let the fame get to their head. They're just all such just salt of the earth human beings, and it makes me proud to be a Stryper fan, just knowing that. Yeah, so and then quickly, I really went off on a tangent here, but I just for Make Love Great Again, for that opening intro with that bass groove, that's where you say, "Welcome, Perry Richardson on bass." My gosh, that was just an awesome opening. So
it is, mate.
And I'm sorry, Lee, I really went off on a tangent there, but
no, it's a great story, mate. I'm jealous. I am, honestly.
Yeah. So, but anyways, my next song was the title track again, "Even the Devil Believes." Lyrically, very important song for people listening. Take heed. A lot of people are religious. A lot of people say they believe in God. But what Michael's saying here is that it's not enough to just believe in God, because even the devil believes, right? Instead, we need to give our lives over to him and trust him, follow the instructions that are laid out in his word. It isn't always easy. I've struggled multiple times in the walk with my faith. But in the end, I personally, I just can't walk away. I've witnessed it firsthand. God's just been faithful, and so even though I struggle at a lot of times, you know, I can never stop believing, just because He's just proven Himself so faithful to me over the years. So yeah, powerful song.
Yeah, and musically as well, mate. I went from first hearing this on my first reaction. I think I gave it an 8 out of 10 the first time I heard it, and then it reached a 10 out of 10 by the time I'd done my final rankings. Perfect song, mate. A flawless song. Really gives an 80s vibe for me. This one, a real 80s vibe. Those sort of, I know there are little nuances that they like to put in their songs, but there's like them little pinch harmonics going over those verses as the song kicks in. Those little high pinch harmonics that are going on. Chorus is amazing. I love the drumming on the chorus as well. It's sort of, he's not going to the cymbals. It's like I just think it lifts the whole song. A perfect song, mate. A brilliant choice. That's a title track and a half, that is. It really is. Love it. Brilliant choice, mate.
All right. And for this is the second to last. This next track, I think it's about time to attack a ballad.
Yeah, why not?
Gone through a lot of songs in this show, and we haven't done a single ballad yet. I mean, we briefly talked about First Love, but not officially. But yeah, This I Pray. Oh my goodness. To be honest here, every time I listen to the chorus of this song, I actually start to tear up. You know, I'll be honest, I'm kind of an emotional sap. My girlfriend laughs at me sometimes because I'm always the first person to cry at a certain point in a movie or TV show or whatever. But I tear up when I hear this chorus. It's like the writer realizes that he still has more he needs to accomplish, but he has some regrets. He's been struggling, and then he just cries out, I swear I won't go down without a fight. The darkest night will always lead to light. Take my hand and help me find my way. I don't want to die. Just give me one more day. This I pray. He's just asking God for another day to make things right. I mean, you know, fact is that none of us know when our ticket's going to be stamped, you know, and which is why I feel it's so important that we live each day to the best of our abilities. You know, for me as a person of faith, I think it's important that we, you know, do our best to live as Christ would want us to live. But it's just such a moving song. I would say I have to say this has become my all-time favorite Stryper ballad. It's guitar driven, which I do prefer over the piano.
Yeah, there's a different version. There's a different version, isn't there?
Yeah, and what it does to my soul when I listen to this song, it moves me. The music and the lyrics just move me.
Yeah. In
such a huge way that, I gotta say this has just become my number one Stryper ballad, and that's saying quite a bit.
Have you heard the other version of it without the guitar, like the?
No, the Japanese version.
Yeah, it's good, but I'm a bit like you. I like a build up to a song, and you know, with the guitar, the electric guitar, and all that. It's a good version.
I would love to hear it if you have a way of sending me a link or something. I just don't know where to find it. I looked for it, but I couldn't find it. I would love to hear it just to see. But I mean, heck, this just
yeah.
Can't say enough about this song.
This is a better version of it for me as well, but it's still a good version. You need to listen to it. So for me, it's not my favourite Stryper ballad, but I think it fits perfectly within this album because what Stryper did and Michael Sweet and all the guys did on this album is they covered every single base they could cover to please the fans. You know, it's like the fans were calling out, I want, you know, we'll give the fans an 80s sort of song. We'll give the fans a power metal song, something really heavy. We'll give the fans something epic with, you know, other. And it's like, this couldn't have been a better ballad on this album. Like I said, it's not my favourite Stryper ballad, but I think it's perfect for the album. Real 1980s feel to this. I could just imagine, you know, I can imagine this on MTV in the 1980s, a black and white video, cowboy hats, you know, it's just got that real sort of southern sort of feel to it. It's it fits perfectly on the album, man. And no, it's an excellent song. It's an excellent song, and it's a real typical rock ballad, which I loved. It was like, as soon as I heard it, I thought, you know what I mean? It might have a few cliches in there, but I love it. I like the cliches. You know, it was a perfect ballad for the album. A brilliant choice, mate.
Just side note, I'm curious, what is your favorite Stryper ballad? Just to go off topic for a second.
You know what? I've got a couple. First Love is outstanding. We've already spoken about that. Do you know what one I really love on the 4 albums, on the latest 4 albums, which we sort of think about them together. We think about them together, them albums, don't we? Because they're so
beautiful.
Yeah. No, it's The One.
The One, yes.
Great
video on that.
Yeah, it reminds me of First Love a little bit. It's got that sort of feel to it, but I love The One. That could be my favourite. It's along with First Love, I think. They're my 2 favourites. They're great. Right, I think, mate, we're on to the last song.
We are. And I've saved the best for last. You'll probably notice that in every one of these albums we've gone through, I've always gone in the songs I've picked have always been in the order they appeared on the album.
You did throw me a bit.
Though,
you threw me a bit.
From that. I did throw you away. I couldn't put this in the mix and end with This I Pray, as great as it is. I had to end with, there's, if you're a Stryper fan out there, I'm assuming most people watching this probably are. You may have noticed a certain track, whose brand new video just surpassed 1 million views on YouTube after less than 2 months since it was released. Of course, I'm talking about Do Unto Others. And in my humble opinion, this song has catapulted to the single greatest song of Stryper's career. It is a masterpiece in every way, shape, or form. I gave it a perfect 10 out of 10 rating, as I believe you did. I know, Lee, you're going to go more on the music side, but I just have to say, those vocal harmonies, wow. The melancholy you talk about, wow. And that guitar solo that Michael did, like you watch the video where he's doing that guitar solo, and I sit there and I watch that. I'm like, how does a human being do that? Like, okay, and I know the music's your side here, but Michael, are you kidding me? Wow, just wow.
Yeah,
I can't say more about that, except now for the lyrics. Does it get any simpler or better than a song about the golden rule? I mean, we talked about this briefly a little while ago.
Yeah.
You don't have to be a person of faith. I mean, to just treat others like you want to be treated. You look at the world today and you think, and if everyone just thought once about their neighbor, if they just step back in any situation and look, how would I want to be treated? And then do the same to the other individual. If we all took this approach, the world would just be so much better off, and as I mentioned, you don't need to be a Christian to follow that rule. That's just being a decent human, and I love it. I can't get enough of this track. just,
Oh, mate.
my God,
I
blew
know.
me away.
Yeah. You know what? I know I've said a lot about this song, and it's a flawless song. It is a perfect song, and if somehow it's getting better, I don't know how, but I mean,
It's
you
like
know,
you need to have an 11 and a 12 now.
yeah. And honestly,
10's no longer good enough.
and I'll tell you how it got even better with the video, because the video was just the perfect video. I've never seen a video to fit a song so well. I mean, it made me sad, you know. I mean, it happy at the same time. The little touches in there.
God.
I mean the little bits with
Seen the homeless guy, and then
even the bits with band with what,
Jeroska.
even the bits with what's happening with Oz at the moment, you know, and seeing Oz and the band walking, and you know, and that there's a part in it in the video in there where a fan has said, I don't know if it was meant to be, but he points at Oz, Michael Sweet, you know, on the lyrics about wasting a day, you know, like, you know, life's too short to waste a day, and he points at Oz. I don't know if that was on purpose, you know, I don't know. But the whole song anyway has such a sad sort of feel to it, but sad at the same time. But I don't know, but it just makes me happy listening to it, but it's so melancholy at the same time. And I just think it's like the perfect blend of heaviness and melody. And I haven't heard a song like this for years. I think it's, you know, it is my top Stryper song. And I don't know if I ever had to rank my favourite songs of all time of any band. And I hope I don't have to do that, because that'd be too hard. But it's going to be, it's going to be up there, you know, as one of the best songs of all time. Without a doubt.
Oh God, I just can't get enough of this song. It's got everything, man. It's got everything. There does not leave you wanting anything else. Like, it satisfies
Goosebumps, man.
Song Goosebumps. It just satisfies the soul.
Yeah.
Guys, just a brilliant job. Michael, your writing, man.
You know what bit I love in this song as well? I mean, I love all of it. What about that little twin lead bit right at the end and on the video?
Yeah.
The camera goes into each.
Yeah.
I'm like,
that was.
Oh man. I mean,
because you're hearing it, but now you actually get to see it, and you're like, oh my God, how do these guys even do that? Like, how do they, you know, realize that they're keep their own part without messing with the others? Like, it just blows the mind away. And the thing is too, is that, you know, it's also one thing that makes any song great is a song that could be listened to by people who wouldn't normally listen to that style of music. So anybody who's not a heavy metal, hard rock, heavy metal fan, I think they could listen to that song. Yeah. My girlfriend personally, she hates Stryper. She just can't. I don't understand it.
Yeah, my missus is the same. She's the same. She doesn't hate them, but she's like.
But I truly wish, and I'm not sure if she's going to watch this video. You know, maybe she will. Honey, if you do watch this video, just do yourself a favor. At least listen to this one song. Do unto others. I'd be shocked if anybody can listen to that song and not almost instantly fall in love with it. It's so good.
Yeah.
And you know, I guess now you know, I think we've come to the end of all the songs I picked.
Yeah.
But I do want to close to just say that, you know, I just truly believe that Stryper just went to another level with this album. In my opinion, it's only my opinion, but it has now taken over as my all-time favorite Stryper album. And that's saying a lot, man. There's a lot of good albums out there.
Yeah.
I mean, like anybody, I love Soldiers. I love To Hell with the Devil, but this album this is the first Stryper album that I have listened to where I've absolutely loved every song. Like some I love more than others, but in every other album, there's always been usually a couple songs that, I don't hate them, but I could, if all of a sudden they just magically fell off the CD, I wouldn't miss them either, right? Like they're okay. They're good, but they're just not my favorite. This is the first Stryper album I've had where from front to back, there is not a single filler on this album. As you said, it's got something for everybody. If you're not into heavy rock, there's some good songs on there for you. If you're into power metal, there's songs on there for you. If you're into hard rock, there's songs on there for you. If you're into like twin lead guitar solos, there's songs on there for you. If you're into vocal harmony, there's songs, and a lot of the songs catapult like multiple of those features in them, right? It is just such an amazing album. And I know Michael said it on a lot of the albums, it's their best yet or best yet or best. I'll tell you, Michael, it is your best yet. It is absolutely. And I can sum this up. I got a friend of mine. Actually, I got a couple friends of mine. It's kind of interesting, but this one particular friend of mine, he is an audio engineer, producer, musician. He's a drummer himself. Troy, if you're listening, I'm talking to you. And he didn't care for the last few Stryper albums. Funny enough, I know you and I both think these last four are just amazing. He was one of them that was more into the 80s version of Stryper. He just felt his favorite album was actually Against the Law. That was his favorite Stryper album up to this point. And I shared a listen with him on this album, and he put a post on Facebook telling everybody, he says, everybody knows I've been dumping on Stryper lately. He says, but my friend Paul Anderson gave me a listen to this new album, and he says, I have 3 words: finally, epic, wow. And he just listened to it nonstop. He called me up. I can't stop listening. Like he just was, And this is the guy who knows music. This is the guy who's a musician himself. This is the guy who actually he works in an audio engineer booth. So he knows what he's talking about when it comes to production. And
he definitely. I've never known. How many years have they been going now? 37, is it? 37.
30. There'll be 37 next year. Yeah, 1984. 1983, kind of, but
to produce an album,
Rock's regime, I think.
To produce an album 37 years later like that, it's mad. It is absolutely. To produce 4 albums like that is even madder. Absolutely outstanding. Outstanding. Well, you summed it up perfectly, mate. You summed it up perfectly. It's been a brilliant show. I've absolutely loved it. I honestly have.
Thoroughly enjoyed this.
It's been something completely different, and I know I said I've done the Stryper stuff. I've done loads of it, but you came in with a brilliant idea, mate, and I've absolutely loved it. And seeing lyrically the side of it as well. To tell you the truth, the main lyrics from Stryper that I have took notice of more than others is that final song we spoke about, because to me, you summed it up. It's just about treating people as you want to be treated yourself, and that, if we was all like that, mate, it'll be all right, wouldn't we? The world would be all right.
Yeah.
But yeah,
if we all just did a random act of kindness once in a while, and
definitely.
you know, this world would be a better place. You know, it's sad that, you know, we get so caught up on our you know, and you know, I often hear people who aren't people of faith, and they often use the excuse, well, religion's what causes all the wars and stuff like that. And unfortunately, it's been partially true. I mean, there have been a lot of, you know, situations in the world that have been caused by people taking their religion and getting so fundamental about it that, you know. And if I could just say one word to people out there, if you know, anyone out there who's not a person of faith, you know, that Christianity is different. It's not about the rules and regulations. You know, it's just about the fact that, you know, God loves us all, and, you know, He sent His Son to die, and you know, so just have to accept Him. That's it. Simple thing of accepting His grace and His forgiveness, and, you know, and you know, but every one of us has to make that choice ourselves. But even if you don't want to do that, do unto others.
Exactly,
You know?
mate. Well, thank you, mate, for those brilliant words. I've loved having you on, and of course, we're going to do some other stuff as well. So we'll be in contact.
I love it, man.
Right,
For sure.
brilliant.
We get along good.
Yeah, excellent, mate. So, thanks for listening, everyone. If you want to subscribe, please press the red button, bottom right-hand corner, and obviously comment on this video. Let us know what your Stryper, you know, your favourite Stryper songs are, lyrically and musically. It'd be great to hear some comments. And I'll see you next time.
And smash the bell icon so you get notified when he releases new videos.
Yeah. Thanks, mate. All right, cheers.